information and facts, so please bear with us. And if you have any questions, because the presentation is very long, if you can just put your comments or questions in the chat, we'll get them, we'll answer them as we go or toward the end, depending on who's the one speaking. All right, so just to introduce myself, my name is Zainab Saeed. I am one of 3 MyRUN counselors over at the One Stop. And with me today is Ms. Gemma Mendoza, who is representing the Office of Financial Aid. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. All right. So what is the MyRUN One Stop? So MyRUN, One Stop, MyRUN One Stop, they all essentially mean the same thing. We offer cross-functional services, between the offices of financial aid, student accounting, cashier billing services, RUID card services, and the office of the registrar. So as I introduced myself as a MyRUN counselor, what that means is that the MyRUN counselors are basically the generalists to the One Stop. And we work with specialists from the offices that I mentioned. So Gemma would be one of the specialists from the Office of Financial Aid. So we're basically the front line for the One Stop. If we are not able to if we're not able to answer generalized questions, we then escalate it to the people in our specialty offices within the One Stop. In addition to having a physical One Stop, hopefully we'll be able to see each other soon during fall. We are located on the 3rd floor of Blumenthal. We've also built a virtual One Stop, which is the MyRUN website, which we'll talk about right after this. Additionally, we've also built a contact center. So if you Google Rutgers Newark, the number that you see that goes into our call center, which is supervised by another MyRUN counselor, but is honestly basically managed by our student workers. So we have 24 to 27 student workers that we train to answer questions pertaining to our offices. We also, in addition to having a phone number, we also have a texting number that you can text for quicker answers or smaller questions that you might have. Additionally, I just wanted you all to know that we don't have our emails published because we use something called a web form through the MyRUN Supportal. So Supportal is short for support portal, and we'll talk about that again a few slides down. So if you have questions for us, this is the direct link to the web form. So if you will have questions for financial aid, maybe about your term bill once they're available in July, or if you have questions about an ID card, things like that, just fill out a web form and we'll answer your question from there. Also, once you're on the MyRUN website, we have a web chat feature. Again, it's managed by our students for shorter questions you might have, like when do classes start for me? I'm in the School of Arts and Sciences, or when's my last day to drop a class? Small questions like that, you can definitely submit them through the web chat. So if you can all, I'm going to share my screen to show you the live version of the MyRUN website, but if you want to go to it on your tablet or on the phone, please visit myrun.newark.rutgers.edu. I'll give you all a second to get on that website. It's myrun.newark.rutgers.edu. So this is the MyRUN website. DJ, can you just confirm that you can see? You can see it? All right, perfect. So this is the MyRUN website. It's basically the virtual version of our physical One Stop. So if you have any questions regarding financial aid and honestly a bunch of other items, we also have worked with student affairs to build their pages. So there are student affairs information here, registrar, financial aid, anything regarding money. So money coming into your pocket, money leaving your pocket is going to be listed under these specific sections. So please, we do encourage you, once you have time, to look through the MyRUN website to see the resources that are available to students. Because honestly, we have more resources outside of the One Stop, so please utilize them to your advantage. So on the front page, you'll see that we have announcements and important dates. These are constantly updated. And all information that we share is also approved by our student workers. So we don't share information or create pages without having that language approved by our students, so that we're all on the same page with, do you understand what we're trying to share with you? Under important dates, right now you're going to see mostly summer session or spring 21 dates, because we are coming toward the end of the spring semester, and summer session will be starting June 1st. But if you click on the view all button here, you'd be able to see all of the dates that we have loaded so far on the website. By next week, you'll be able to see all fall 2021 important dates. So the add drop period for classes, when's the last day to drop a class without a W, when's the last day to withdraw from a class, when's the last day to add a class. And for each school, it may be different. So those will be up by next week. However, because they're not up yet, we added a quick link here that will take you to it. So you can click on important dates for fall 2021. It'll take you to the page where we pull the data from. All right, and if you scroll further down the page, you'll be able to see these smaller boxes with additional resources. So if you're a new student, if you're an international student, if you're a veteran student, undocumented, there's information pertaining to different student populations. So again, please, once you have a moment, do look through the MyRUN website. Let's go back to the presentation. All right, and just so you all know, I did upload this presentation onto your Canvas page. So if you go under MyRUN 101, you'll be able to see a PDF that you can download. Commuter resources. So with us coming back in person, fall 2021, we will offer eventually parking permits. They're just not available yet. And usually parking services emails the campus community around the beginning of August. So expect an email from them, which will link you to the page where they have their rates and how to purchase permits. Dashboard. So I hope you are all familiar with your MyRutgers portal, because on your MyRutgers portal, after you log in to my.rutgers.edu with your NetID and password, you will then be taken to your portal. On there, please make sure to become well-versed, acclimated, best friends, whatever you want to call it, become very close with your dashboard. On your dashboard, you'll be able to access so much information. I know we have a lot of students sometimes who are like, where do I access my term bill? Where do I access my offer letter? Where do I want to change my address. Where do I change it? I want to change my phone number. Where do I do that? Most of this information, if not all, is on your dashboard. You want to take a moment as well, in addition to viewing the MyRUN website, take a moment to go onto your dashboard and see all the different widgets. These little rectangles are called widgets. Go through each of them and see what information is on each so that you know, oh, this is where I can quickly access this info. Like right here is where you access your bill. Under My Financial Aid is where you can apply and track your information for financial aid. This is just letting you know that the dashboard is very mobile and tablet friendly. So you have the option to look at it through different technologies. The MyRUN portal. Now we're going to go into how to contact us. We had given you our phone number. With COVID now, a guideline still in place. We unfortunately have less people in the office. So most of our calls go to voicemail. So if you want that in-person conversation, the closest thing to in-person right now is our Zoom hours. So we'll go over that right after. However, if you want to email us, if you have any questions, you want to go onto the portal and fill out that web form that I spoke about earlier. And this is how you would do it. Again, on your dashboard, you're going to see a widget that says Student Services Center. To create a new case, AKA a web form, you want to click the big red button that says Submit Your Inquiry. If you've already submitted cases and you are looking to see, all right, what's still open, what has been escalated, what are they working on? Or if you want to track a conversation that you had like 3 months ago, you're like, you know what, I emailed financial aid about something and I forgot what they said, you can track all of that information on that one widget. All you have to do is click on My Cases and it'll take you to, you would click on Open to see what's currently open for you and what has been closed. Now, if you're submitting a new case inquiry, right, you clicked on the red button, you want to log in still, just click it, your NetID and password. Sometimes because you're already logged into your portal, if you click on this button, it's already automatically going to log you in. But if it's asking you again to log in, please do so, because if you don't, you're gonna have to manually, put in that you're a student, your ID number, your email, your first name, last name. You have to manually put in every time. So if you just hit login, all that information is going to automatically populate. And then all you have to do is put in your subject and then your description. I'm just gonna chat quickly to see if any questions are around this. No. So again, if you want to contact us, you are going to submit a case through the MyRUN portal. The easiest way to find this is on your dashboard through this one-stop widget. All right. Now, if for any reason your dashboard is down or you don't feel like going into your dashboard, whatever the reason is, you can locate this link, a direct link to the portal on the MyRUN webpage. We have it in two places, on the front page under announcements and at the footer of every page on the MyRUN website. Just click on contact us and it'll take you directly to the web form. Going straight into FERPA. FERPA stands for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This is basically a law that protects your educational and your academic and other educational records. So if, for example, your parent or guardian wants to call us and have a conversation about your grades or your financial aid or your bill, we would not be able to have this conversation unless you provided authorization through a signed FERPA form. Now, how to submit FERPA so that you can give access to discuss your personal information, your academic or educational information, I should say, go onto your dashboard and then click on authorized access. And that's where you'll be able to follow instructions on how to provide your, again, it could be parent, guardian, a spouse, a sibling, or any other person in your family who you may want to give permission to discuss your info. Please, please, please do not share your 9-digit RUID number. Do not share your NetID and password, and please do not share your social security number. If you want to give your mom, for example, access to your info, don't just give her your NetID and password. Give her the proper access through the FERPA form. All right, we don't want anyone to have access to your information that way. There's a right way to do it, and you want to do it through your dashboard through the authorized access icon over here. Are you here? In addition to being an enrolled student, every student who is registered for classes has to confirm their attendance via the Are You Here pop-up. Please note that the Are You Here pop-up has to be answered when you're registered for fall, if you're registered for winter, if you're registered for spring, and if you're registered for summer. So year-round, basically, Are You Here will go live a week before classes start for that semester or session, and you have to let us know that you're here. If you don't do it by the deadline listed, which is not available yet for fall, you will be dropped from your classes. So let's say now it's a week before classes start, the Are You Here pop-up is live. In order for you to see the confirmation of attendance pop-up, you have to sign in to any Rutgers website that requires NetID and password login. Some websites, like accessing your term bill or viewing your offer letter, give you an option to sign in with your NetID and password or your RUID number and your birth date. So you want to make sure that you are selecting you're selecting NetID and password in order to see the pop-up. So again, it's a week before classes start, you're ready to complete the Are You Here, you're registered for your classes. Now you want to let us know, yes, I'm here. You sign into Canvas, for example. You don't have to be doing something, you just randomly want to sign into websites to see the pop-up. So let's say your option is Canvas. So you log in with your NetID and password. The first screen you are going to see is this one right here, which is basically asking you, yes, I'm attending, or no, I'm not attending. If your answer is no, I'm not attending, just know that you will get another screen that's basically asking you if you're sure. It's a second confirmation. The reason why this is because in the past we've had students who click on no, I'm not attending, and then it was like an accident or a glitch, and it's dropped them from their classes. So if that's the case with you, don't be alarmed, because you're going to get a second screen that wants you to confirm that no. So if you accidentally click no, I'm not attending again, please make sure to fill out a portal, a web form, and let us know so that you're not deregistered from your classes within the next day. Now, if your answer is yes, which most students do answer yes, you will also be asked to confirm the address in which you're residing for the semester. This is not used to change the address that we have for you on file. So if you're living in address X and now you're living in address Y, but your information is still under address X, this will not change your address. This is only letting the university know where you are for contact tracing and for emergency purposes only. This is not to change your address To change your address, again, you can find it under the personal info widget on your dashboard. After you select yes or no, you will eventually get a confirmation telling you thank you for completing the Are You Here process, and you will get an email confirming that you confirmed your attendance for the semester. All right, now 4 quick reasons why you may not see the pop-up. These are very, very common, so please listen carefully. And also, again, this PowerPoint is on Canvas, so you can view it later. 4 reasons why you may not be able to see the Are You Here pop-up. The first one is that you logged in with your RUID instead of the NetID. The second reason is that you need to disable your pop-up blocker. If you have it, if it's enabled, then you won't be able to see the Are You Here pop-up, because remember, it's popping up, so you want to have that disabled. You are not yet registered for classes. A lot of our students get excited for Are You Here? They're ahead of themselves now. They're like, you know what, let me confirm. You're not registered yet. So after you register, you will then be able to see the pop-up. And then the 4th reason is the pop-up hasn't gone live yet. Again, students get excited. I want to do the pop-up. I don't see it. It hasn't gone live yet. And that information will be shared on the Are You Here page on MyRUN. You can find that link right here. And as you know, the dates are not official yet, but again, for the last 2 to 2.5 years, Are You Here has gone live a week before at least classes begin. So expect to see the pop-up then. All right, I'll pass it on to my colleague over at Financial Aid, Ms. Mendoza.
Great, thank you. That was good. Good job. So as Z and Devindra, or Zainab and Devindra mentioned earlier, my name is Gemma Mendoza, Miss Mendoza, however you feel comfortable with calling me. So if there is something important that you take away from at least the financial aid portion of the presentation, I think this one is the most important because it's the most compressed, and it gives you a list of what you should do. As Zainab mentioned, this will be up on Canvas, but if you can screenshot it or take a picture of it because it just helps you memorize it a little bit better or remember it a little bit better, by all means do so. So on screen, you'll see a list of what we're kind of going to go through today, completing, or the fact that you should have already, right, completed your FAFSA, and just things in between, things like loans, you know, reviewing your offer letter, and then we'll move forward to the billing part of the presentation. So as mentioned, most, if not all of you should have already done your FAFSA, right? That's the most important thing to be eligible for federal aid. Our school code is listed on screen, so it would be 002629, and that is for all Rutgers campuses. So if you haven't added us as a school, please log back into your FAFSA and do so, 002629 with 2019 information. So documents, right? Some universities select students for what we call verification. We just want to make sure that the information you put on your FAFSA is accurate. We did partner up with a third party called Inceptia. So if you see a strange or funky email from them, it is not spam. It is us just making sure that you get in contact with the right company or servicer to submit certain documentation. Your best bet, if you are unsure if it went to your spam folder, your junk folder, what have you, is the link on screen. So scarletthub.rutgers.edu/docs. One thing I do want to stress is if you're not able to, I guess, see what documents we need, sometimes it has to do with the Adobe version you have or even your web browser. I find it best, it works with Mozilla, Firefox, for those who don't say Mozilla. But if you ever have any questions for document purposes, the email is on screen. So it would be vgcs@inceptia.org. I'm more of an emailer, so I think email is best. If you're more of a person who wants to speak to someone, the phone number is on screen as well.
Giving them the moment. All right.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I think I'm good to move on.
And thank you to the OLs putting the links on the chat. So on screen, state aid, right? For New Jersey residents, the state of New Jersey does provide state assistance in the form of grant funding. You would either have to file your FAFSA on time, which again, hopefully all of you have, or if not, fill out an alternative application that's also found on the website for the state. So njfams.hisa.org. They are very deadline oriented, so definitely check those out. I'm so sorry, just give me 2 seconds with that hiccup.
So just to emphasize to all of you, HISA they do not joke around with deadlines. You miss a deadline with HISA, you are very, very less likely to get funded. So you missed with HISA. Gemma, am I saying this?
You are 100% definitely sorry about the house phone, but if you do miss a deadline, they do not offer extensions. They do not say, it's okay, you have another day to do it. You will become ineligible for that funding, right? So they are very deadline oriented, especially with documentation. If they do ask for additional documentation, always double check. It never hurts. And if you have questions regarding your state aid eligibility, the customer care phone numbers are on screen as well. They aren't available on weekends, but if you do call really early in the morning.
Gemma, correct me if I'm wrong. To summarize to everyone here, you want to check 2 places for missing documents. You want to sign in to our missing documents, the Scarlet Hub.Rutgers ID/docs that we showed you in the previous one. And correct. If you're a HISA recipient, you also want to sign in to your NJFAM. So remember, that's 2 places you are signing in.
Definitely make them bookmarks on your web browser, on your phone. You do have to check, 2 different resources, but it is again to maximize your aid, right? And that's what we're doing here today. We're going over your aid eligibility, your term bill, MyRUN, and all the information you need, right? So 2 places. So if you've gone ahead and done the FAFSA already, again, hopefully most of you have, you should have received an automated email letting you know that you've been offered aid, right? On screen should be something familiar to you. As Zena mentioned, please log in with your net ID. Your RUID might give you the same view, but it's always best to authenticate, who you are with that net ID and password login. You'll see something that looks like estimated direct costs and estimated indirect costs, sorry. And it's not a bill, right? I do want to stress that what you see as far as cost-wise on your offer letter is not a bill. You'll receive that sometime in July. But to better prepare,
just make it here.
But to better prepare yourself, definitely focus on what's in the red bubble, the estimated direct costs. It'll include your tuition and fees or an estimate thereof. And for those of you that chose on campus, it'll also include an estimated room and board fee as well. So it allows you to project, right? And then the estimated indirect cost allows you to plan for things as well, like books, transportation for those of you commuting, and miscellaneous expenses because your laptop might break down or something like that, right?
Gemma, I'm so annoying with these. Let me emphasize, but all students will see this housing and dining estimated cost, right, Gemma? Regardless of whether you're selected on campus, everyone's always
on campus, off campus, commuting. It is an expense that we have to put per federal guidelines. It's not that will be billed to you, right? But we do have to put that on your offer letter per federal guidelines, per some state guidelines as well. So what I strongly suggest you do is focus on, what we're going to look at on the next slide, which would be your aid offered, and focus on your bill once it comes out in July, right? So you can compare and contrast, what you've been awarded as opposed to what's being billed to you.
So leading into the next slide, what you see here on the right side of your offer letter is the costs and awards per year.
So this is probably, I guess, what most of you focus on, right? Like how much financial aid am I getting? And we always suggest to students to look at it in an in a viewer-friendly type of view, which would be the awards only right next to the two bubble. It helps you break down what financial aid you're getting for the fall semester and for the spring semester, and sometimes even for the winter and summer terms, right? They're non-traditional terms, but generally it would be fall and spring. It also breaks down into the loans offered. Loans, naturally, you have to pay back, but it also allows you to view them as separate semesters, right? So as mentioned before, we do offer loans, and we offer them not because you've applied for them, right? But because through the FAFSA, we do have to offer you entitlement funding, and loans are a part of that. If you wish to decline your loans or even reduce them at any point, you could complete either of or click on either of the links in the two circles. So one is orange, one is yellow. The orange one will be in the loans offered pane. So, well, not pane, but section of your offer letter. And then the yellow one, which I generally suggest to students, is found on the right-hand side. And it just says, I want to update my information, and you just go ahead and click on it, and it redirects you to a different page called the data change form. And it allows you to update your loan should you wish to cancel or reduce them at any time. If you do cancel them, you can always reinstate them later. That's fine as well. If you are one of the students that would want to accept, the federal loans offered to you, you would have to go to studentloans.gov or studentaid.gov. It'll redirect you anyway to the appropriate webpage where you have to fill out 2 electronic documents. One works like a little mini quiz to make sure that you read and understand the loans that you're about to take out, right? If you answer a question wrong, that's fine. You could always, kind of reread the paragraph and understand it a little bit better. The second one is a master promissory note, which is an electronic contract. So that's the most binding one, letting us know that I, John Doe, do want to take out the loans that were offered to me, right? So this kind of goes over what we mentioned in, I think, 2 slides ago, or what I mentioned about 2 slides ago, that data change form that you'll be directed to if you want to reduce or decline your loans. You can do that as well for your enrollment. So if you choose to go from full-time to half-time to 3/4 time and whatnot, we'll go over that in, I think, the next slide or the next 2 slides. You can change that as well. Your housing information, if you're going from on campus to off campus, you can do that as well on that I want to update my information web link. So this is probably the most important one aside from kind of the checklist that was in the beginning. This lets you know what you're eligible for as far as enrollment. And, as an office, as a university, as advisors, we do stress that you look at that New Jersey tuition aid grant portion that lists the enrollment requirements. You do have to be at least 12 credits to receive that grant from the state, which is generally most of your financial aid as far as free money goes. So definitely keep that in mind. You have to be at least 12 credits to receive state aid, as opposed to other types of funding where you can fall below those 12 credits. But the tuition aid grant, which is the state aid grant, it is generally mostly a big chunk of the financial aid offered. And if you didn't know, now you know. You have to have a certain GPA to receive financial aid. As incoming freshmen, which some of you, in this Zoom meeting are, you have to maintain at least a 1.5. And I'm sure, almost positive that no one here has that goal set, right? Of that 1.5, we're all striving, for higher, right? But on screen, you'll see the GPAs, depending on the credits that you've completed, to maintain financial aid eligibility. So it goes from freshman all the way to senior. As a senior, you have to be at least a C and above, but you know, we always strive to succeed, right? To succeed a little bit more. Some of you are offered the federal work study program, which works kind of like a little part-time, right? So you get paid bi-weekly, you get to study, my apologies, you get to work while you study, right? So it goes around your student schedule. And it's generally $1,000 per semester, and you can choose kind of where you work depending on availability, right? So if your career goals are set in biology, you might want to include the biology department in your federal work study application. But it's very beneficial. You do have to go through an interview process. Both myself and Zainab are products of the work study program, so strongly suggested, even if it's just, you know, for that bi-weekly, a little bit of extra money in your pocket, right? And on screen, you'll see what it looks like once you've been assigned. You'll see your supervisor's information. You'll see your pay rate. And again, you would have to, you know, initiate that contact with the supervisor for the interview process once you've been assigned a department. And if you accept the offer, you can choose that towards the bottom on screen if you see. You can either accept for the academic year, which is fall and spring, or you can do for fall only, spring only, or decline it, completely keeping in mind that if you do decline it, being reassigned is not guaranteed, because it just depends on availability per department. So this is, you know, definitely also an important slide to consider with COVID happening, the pandemic, and just life happens, right? A lot of times you can lose a job, go from full-time to part-time as far as employment goes. And we go through a process called a change in family circumstance. For more information on that, you can definitely check our website or shoot us a message through the MySA portal, which Zainab mentioned in the beginning. But definitely always look at MyRUN for additional resources like scholarships, the installment plan that we'll go over a little bit later, things like loans and stuff like that.
Thank you, Gemma.
Yeah.
All right, so now we'll get into one of the last sections now, which is around your term bill, payment plans, and other stuff like that. So I had already mentioned the financial responsibility statement for Are You Here? So one of the pop-ups after you say, yes, I'm attending, some students may get another pop-up that is asking you to complete the financial responsibility statement, which is basically saying, yes, I'm in charge. I'm responsible for all tuition fees, any charges that are associated with my enrollment here as a student. The reason why most students actually won't see that second pop-up is because they already signed it upon course registration through WebReg. Most of our students do register online via WebReg, which is why they don't see that financial responsibility pop-up. So I wouldn't worry about it because most of you should actually be registering today for classes. And the second reason why you may not see it, if you don't register online via WebReg, you probably already started making payments online. So if you're starting to make payments on your bill, that's basically telling the university I'm responsible for the bill. Now, tuition rates for the this upcoming academic year for 2021-2022 has not been determined yet. The Rutgers Board of Governors meets every year around mid-July to come up with tuition and fees rates for the following academic year. So unfortunately, you don't have access to your fall 2020 term bills because the tuition fees rates are not out yet for the next year. So please wait until mid-July to see the rates. And then a couple weeks after that, students will be pinged or emailed, letting them know that their fall 21 bills are now available for view. Payment plans. So far, fall 2021 tuition payment plans are available. Spring 22 tuition payment plans will be up shortly on the student accounting website, but you have 3 options for your fall plan. All payments are due on the 5th of the month. So if you enroll for the August 5th start date, your next payment is going to be September 5th, and then the next one's going to be October 5th. So just keep that in mind. In addition to that, please note that the plans are monthly with automatic deductions. In addition to that, all credit card payments, so if you choose to pay via credit card, you will be assessed a 2.7% service fee. This is not a Rutgers fee, this is a credit card fee. To avoid the credit card fee, you can also choose to pay your payment plan via an electronic check. That does not have a fee, so you have that option to avoid it. Now, in addition to those items, if you enroll for a payment plan for fall or for spring, you will have to pay a $50 enrollment fee per semester, which is non-refundable. So if you're signing up for the fall 21 payment plan, you have to pay that $50 enrollment fee. If you sign up for the spring 22 payment plans once available, you also have to pay a $50 enrollment fee. So keep those fees in mind as you make decisions on how am I going to make this payment using what means. All right, next one is also just an FYI on this page. If you go to it, there's a step-by-step payment guide. So if you're having trouble signing up for a payment plan, student accounting team came up with a very clear, super easy to follow guidelines on how to sign up for a guide. And they also have a video version of it. Student health insurance. I won't go over this a lot because I know Teresa's team went over the bill, but just to emphasize that if you are one of the full-time or F&J Rutgers Visa sponsored students, you need to have health insurance. If you don't have your own, you have to sign up if you fall under either of those two categories. But if you have your own, please make sure that you are waiving that insurance every semester. You have to waive for fall, you have to waive for spring. Additionally, if you are full-time and you don't have your own health insurance, you need to enroll for fall and then enroll for spring. So please make sure you are not missing the deadlines. Deadlines and rates have not been published yet. They should also be published around July. So here I included the fall last year, so fall 2020 and spring 21 deadlines and costs, just so that you understand what you might be looking at. You may be looking at similar numbers for this upcoming academic year. The reason why I'm showing you this is because fall is always going to be less than spring, because student health insurance is going to cover you from mid-August up until mid-January of the following year. So that's just the fall and then part of the winter session. And then you have the spring semester, which covers longer. So it's going to cover you from January up until mid-August. So it's covering you from beginning spring all the way up until summer. So that's why it is more costly. So please, we urge you, if you have your own health insurance, please do not forget to waive, because we've had so many students now owe an extra $1,300+ because they forgot to waive. All right, accessing your term bill. So I already showed you on your dashboard a very easy way to access your bill. Click on under the My Money tab, click on that little online term bill icon, and this takes you straight to the login for your online term bill. Like I said, remember for Are You Here, make sure you're signing in with your NetID. This is one of the pages that gives you the option to sign in with NetID or RUID. I personally think it's easier to always sign in with your NetID and password. So log in, and then over here, you'd be able to select fall 2021. Again, once it becomes available, most of you, none of you actually should be able to see your fall bills, but you'll be able to see it within the next couple of months. This option over here is the authorized user account login. This is for if you've given access to a parent, a guardian, a spouse, a sibling, anyone access to view and pay your bill. Please make note that this does not replace FERPA. If you created an account for your parent, for example, to log in, all they have is access to view your bill and pay your bill. FERPA would give them access to not just view and pay, but to also have a conversation about your bill. So make sure that you're going onto the dashboard as I showed you, click on authorized access and give them access to speak to us about your items through FERPA. This only gives them view and pay access. So we tried our best to figure out a way, all right, how do we explain term bills and how to read it? So we did a little breakdown of each section on the term bill. On this section over here, it's basically a summary of any balances that you may owe, when your bill is due, any potential financial holds that you may have. Also, let's say, Are You Here? You don't see the pop-up for financial responsibility statement and you're like, she said that we already signed it, but when? you can actually view that here. This student, for example, their FRS was accepted on July 26th. And to me, it sounds like that's when they registered because it basically coincides with when the other SOAR dates are. So you can view that information here as well. Under outstanding balance, this is basically a very quick overall summary of your entire bill. You're going to see the total charges, total payments, and total balance. I want you to take note of the CR. See here under total payments how there's a CR and there's another CR under total balance. The CR stands for credit. A CR in total payments represents any amount made, any payment made, including financial aid. So this student is just an example of they were offered a scholarship plus their loans, and that's their total. For you, it could be your scholarships and your loans, and you probably made an out-of-pocket payment. So that whole total of how many payments were made, it could be out-of-pocket and financial aid, will reflect here under total charges, and the same will reflect down here. Now, a credit in total balance means that a possible refund is due to you due to overpayment. This student actually had a great example of that. They were charged a total of $8,342, but payments made, which in this case was strictly financial aid, was more than that. How much more? It's right here in the balance, $1,879.80. Remember, a CR in balance almost always means that you're going to have money coming back to you because of the overpayment. So don't be alarmed if you go onto your bill, you're fully covered by financial aid, you're not expected to make any payments, you're like, oh wait, why do I see a $2,000 credit? That CR is going to be the giveaway. If you see that CR, that means that you're going to get a refund. Now under charges, again, this shows you your tuition charges and your fees. Please make note that under payments, you'll see, again, like I said, you're going to see your financial aid on there. Once all documents are submitted, remember, if you look at your offer letter and you're like, I was given $10,000, why don't I see it on my bill? Please make sure that all your documents have been submitted to the Office of Financial Aid. In addition to that, make sure that you are giving them enough time to process those documents. So once they're submitted and processed, you're good to go. Then that money from your offer letter is going to cross over to your bill, and then you would be able to see it. Gemma, did you want to quickly go over why students may see this offered to their financial aid items on their bill?
Yeah, sure. So offered is generally in relation to, what's estimated to you for the time being, especially if you have those missing documents, right? Nothing is finalized until your file is complete. You may also see things or a certain type of financial aid in the payment section with an X in front of it. That means that it's estimated as well because either our office or even the state is missing something. So until you see the amount offered finalized or, dispersed or even reflected on your bill, definitely contact us if you see something a little funky.
Yeah, also just an FYI to everyone, Gemma, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes the aid likes to play this very quick, I'm gonna disappear off your bill for a little bit and then I'm gonna come back.
Yes, good point, good point. That does happen. So for future reference, definitely don't freak out. This also has to do with the fact that, again, you're missing documents. So it's not that we canceled your financial aid offer, right? It's just because it's in an incomplete status, we can't include that on your bill, right? So, by all means, feel free to contact us to see what's going on. It could also be very few a time, but it can also be when it's a non-traditional term like winter or summer. But specifically for fall and spring, it should be because it's either not there. It's not there because either you're missing something with our office or we're in the process of finalizing it as well. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing.
Oh, yeah, no. So just in general, definitely use the MySUP portal if it's something that you feel is, imperative or something that you feel is truly strange. But when it comes in when it disappears, I will probably more than likely say sometime in August. Being, very transparent with you, is because we're finalizing that, right? The Board of Governors meets in July. We're finalizing the financial aid on our end, as is the state, and it'll reappear. So definitely don't freak out. It does happen every semester, every year. There's unfortunately nothing we can do to control that currently. A good point, Zainab. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. All right, so on the right side of your bill, you'll be able to see your payment options, which again, we'll go over more in depth in the next slide. And then under here, the last button, adjust your payment. Let's say you don't want to enroll for a payment plan. You have $2,000 left to pay. Once you click on adjust your payment, it's going to take you to say, oh, okay, you owe $2,000. Don't freak out. That's not us forcing you to pay that $2,000. Highlight it, delete it, and type in the number that you want to pay. You keep doing that until your balance reaches zero. All right, so that's why it says adjust your payment, because we're trying to let you know that it's not like, oh, this is your balance, you have to pay it. You can select the amount by adjusting it.
And I also,
Yeah.
sorry, Zainab.
That's right.
I also do want to tell in there that if it does turn out to be one of the instances where that financial aid does disappear and then reappear because there's something, going on in the back end, but you do have a balance, that would be a good option to use the, adjust your payment portion.
Yes, thank you, Gemma. So after you hit adjust your payment, you will actually see an option that says, are you waiting on aid? That's the simplest way for me to put it. You want to click on that and say, yeah. So these are your payment options. Credit cards is going to be online only. Please make sure that when you're paying via your online term bill, you have the two options. You have your credit card, your debit card, or an e-check. Remember the fees that come with the credit card. You can't come in person to make a credit card payment. So unfortunately, you have to make the credit card payment online only. The electronic check or e-check is the recommended route because one, there's no fee, and also it can be easily done online. If you do want to pay via paper check, please make sure that we recommend that you mail it. So if your parents, guardians, or you are more comfortable sending in a paper check, please make sure that you are mailing it to our office. The other option is if you want to pay via cash and or money order. These are accepted in person, so you can always make an appointment with our cashier's office to make that payment in person. And for international payments, you can click on this website and you'll be able to see more information on that. And again, for summary of all of this, please go to the Student ABC website listed below. Give me a second in case anyone's taking photos. Refunds. So remember we mentioned the overpayment and we mentioned refunds. Students may receive a refund based on financial aid, loan credits, or overpayments to their term bill. That student that I showed you before, they had 8,000 something in charges, and then it had over $10,000 in financial aid. So that $1,800 difference is going to come back to them. Now, if you're signed up for direct deposit or not is going to determine whether you're going to get the money back via your bank, which is through direct deposit, which we recommend because it's quicker, safer, and it's easier for you, or via paper check by mail. So if we don't have a direct deposit for you on file, you will get the refund mailed to you to the address we have on file. If you really want that money back and you're depending on it for like rent or food or bills or other items, please make sure that you sign up for direct deposit because you could find yourself waiting 2 to 3 extra weeks to get that paper check mailed to you or to arrive to your house. That's what I should say. All right, this is information on how to sign up for direct deposit. Again, it's very recommended, strongly recommend that you sign up for direct deposit. I don't usually read off PowerPoints, but I will read the following section because it's very, very important. It's regarding your parents or guardians who want to fill out a Parent Plus loan to pay part or all of your bill as it relates to refunds and direct deposit. So all Parent Plus loan credit balances that are refunded to the parent borrower will be mailed by paper check to the parent's address listed on the Plus loan application. So please keep in mind that even if the student, you are signed up for direct deposit with the parent's account information, the Parent Plus loan refund will still be sent to the parent via paper check. This is extremely important that you relay this information to your parents or guardians, because what often happens is parents say, well, no, they signed up for direct deposit using my bank info. Regardless of whether or not you signed up for direct deposit, the direct deposit is for the student, not for the parent. And when your parent applies for a plus loan, they're filling out the application with their info and their address. So if a refund happens because of the Parent Plus loan, they will be mailed that refund via paper check to the address that they put on that loan application. So please remind your parents, whether they want you to put their bank info or not, they're still going to get that paper check. All right, book fund. So in order to be eligible for a book fund, you need to be a financial aid recipient with an expected refund of $500 plus. So it could literally be like $500.50. 500 of that dollars is going to be put in the book fund, which you can use to purchase books and other items on our via our campus bookstore, Barnes & Noble. However, if you want to opt out of it and you just want the 500, or you're like, I don't want the 500, what you can do is on your bill, I'm going back, you're going to see this little message that says, are you book advanced for financial aid students in Newark? Scroll a bit down and you'll be able to opt out of that book fund from there. All right. Now your RUID card, and I'm talking about your physical ID card. I'm not talking about your RUID number. If once it arrives to you, if it's lost, damaged, for whatever reason you still haven't gotten it, please make sure you fill out a web form via the MyRUN portal, or you can go to their direct link here for more information on it. And it is a $20 replacement fee for lost or damaged ones. So keep that in mind, but new ones are free for our students. This is a great resource for students to remain in contact with their academic advisors and other academic resources around campus. You'd be able, if you want to know who your advisor is, how to meet with them, email them, ping them, whatever feature that they have on there, you can do so through the Navigate app. Just make sure that when you are signing in, you follow these instructions. Just type in Rutgers, and then the rest, you just sign in with your NetID and password, take these little intake surveys, and then you'll be good to go through the Navigate app. Very quickly, you've all already activated your NetIDs, but if you have any issues, you want to change your password or anything like that, go to netid.rutgers.edu. Again, please do not share your NetID and password. Do not share your social. Do not share your RUID number, because anyone with different information about you can put all that information together and now have access to your information. Your RUID number, just make sure that every time you're contacting any offices on campus, please make sure to try to put in your RUID number, especially with academic advisement units. This way it's easier for them to find you and get to your answer quicker, as opposed to what's your ID number, because 10 other people can have your name on campus. This is more information on your Scarlet Mail account. If you are comfortable using your Yahoo or your Gmail, you can always have your RUID linked to it so that all your Rutgers emails are sent to that to your preferred email address. And again, information for that is found on MyRUN and can be found on this PowerPoint, which has been uploaded to Canvas. I love my plugs. All right, now for the one-stop virtual counter. As I stated before earlier in our presentation, we are not open in person fully yet. So if you do want to speak to us, we will also have this feature, by the way, during fall. So even if fall time comes around and we're able to see students and we can make appointments to come in person, but you don't want to come see us in person, sign up for a virtual counter appointment. You'll be provided a Zoom link 30 to 60 minutes before the time slot you registered for. So please make sure you're taking note. If you selected Tuesday at 11:30, Tuesday at 11 a.m., or maybe at 10:30 a.m. is when you're going to get that Zoom link info. So please make sure you have it on your calendar. Unfortunately, there's no system in place to send you guys invites, so it's super manual. So if you sign up for a time slot, take note of it, and we'll send you the info 30 to 60 minutes before the time slot. And to sign up for one, again, it's on the MyRUN website, it's on the front page, but this is also the direct link. So if you want to tab it, save it, or bookmark it, I should say. These are some important dates. Again, because it's so far from fall beginning, there's so many items that we still don't know, like when Are You Here goes live, when term bills are due, when the rates will come out, and things like that. But these are some important dates that we already have for you, like when the fall 21 semester begins, when add drop begins, the last day to drop a class and the last day to add a class, which again, all this information you can see if you go onto this link here on MyRUN. Last slide. Take a quick scan, I guess, of this QR code, and it'll take you to all of our social media accounts. We are not that present on social media, but we will be very soon. So please, please follow us, because we will practically be living on social media per your request. So if for any reason the QR code doesn't work for you, I included help me out, the handles for Instagram, for Twitter, and our page for MyRUN. Right? So we're done. I haven't looked at chats, but for any questions, do we have time to take live questions?
Yes,
or-
you do. Wow, I'm surprised. Yeah, you have 10
Listen,
minutes.
I was like, let me talk less. Maybe we'll finish earlier. And I guess I was
Actually,
successful.
it works out well. You guys been doing great. Yeah, Nikita's right. Record timing. But yeah, you guys are doing awesome with time. It's making me think it might have been Nicholas, but yeah,
I
you guys
miss
are
Nick.
you guys are free to take questions. So go ahead. If anyone has any questions, please feel free.
I'm trying to look through
I
chats.
do want to address one question that was put